So hi, before we start this video, I want to ask you a question, especially for you as Indonesian women. Have you ever heard or experienced female genital mutilation or FGM? Sounds unfamiliar, but I do believe you already heard about what we call sunat perempuan. So hold your answer because we will talk and discuss this topic in this video. So, hi again, my name is Dewi Fajar Sayantias, and through this video we will talk about FGM or female genital mutilation from the video I have found on YouTube TED Talk at Canberra in 2040 starring Khadija. So, Khadija is a feminist and human rights activist in Australia focusing on FGM. I believe you already guessing about what we are going to talk about today. So let's dive in. So in that video, Khadija shared to us about her personal story experiencing FGM in Australia. To start the story, Khadija started to tell us a little bit about her background before moving to the Australia. So let me tell you in a bit and a brief about the background of Khadija. So Khadija was born in Sierra Leone. Bad things happened, like a bad massive war happened in Sierra Leone. Then Khadija and her family decided to move away from Sierra Leone to West Africa, but everything just messed up. Everything doesn't work well, so they decide to move away from West Africa to Australia. So this is where the story began. So one day in Australia, Khadija's mother asked Khadija out to went somewhere to meet someone, the old ethical lady. Long story short, Khadija's mother and the old ethical lady took Khadija to a hut. After that, her mother pinned Khadija's body down to the floor and started to rip out all Khadija's clothes. Then the old ethical lady comes to the room with that rusty looking knife, start watching Khadija's body and start at the area what we call vagina. After that, the lady is trying to hold Khadija's clitoris and start cutting away and suck away, just like it is the most disgusting thing in the world. Khadija start to cry. Khadija was bleeding. Khadija asked her mother to stop this activity because she has no clue about what happened to her in that hut with the old ethical lady. But her mother just say, shut up. And then after that, Khadija has like a trauma, terrible trauma, so that she couldn't even remember what happened to her in that day in a house with her mom and the old ethical lady. After that, she growing up, she is adult and she started to joining some volunteers in Australia. So Khadija is joining a volunteering program called Women's Health statewide focusing on FGM. So actually Khadija is joining this program without any awareness of what this program was talking about, concerned about. So that is related to her anyway. So one day Khadija is staring at the FGM chart of FGM types. So FGM itself, it has 4 types. Types number 1 is cutting the whole clitoris. The type number 2 is cutting the whole clitoris and some area what we call labia majora. So this type 2 brings Khadija back to her memories when she was in a hut with her mother and the old ethical women. At that point, she realized she becomes a victim of FGM. It's no wonder the Khadijah has like such a long and heavy and painful period all the time. She thought that this kind of thing happens to everyone, every woman, but it's not so. It's only happen to women without clitoris. So Khadijah decided to meet her mother to asking for a further information, explanation about what happened to her at the time. After that, Khadijah's mother said that she did a good thing to Khadijah. She did what she had to do as a mother because it is related to the ethical and cultural norm in the society back when they were in Sierra Leone in the West Africa, and now in Australia, because this kind of thing, the FGM, or the society called it as a circumcision, it happened in anywhere. Khadijah's mother thought that women with a clitoris will sleep around with any boys and males, and it's not a good sign for Khadijah. And her mother thought that by cutting away her clitoris, it will help Khadijah to control her sexuality without knowing the consequences. So Khadijah was really furious at the time, and she wants her pain towards something. So Khadijah Pennaus becomes a director of No FGM in Australia and fighting against FGM in Australia. So from that TED Talk video starring Khadijah, I learned a lot of things related to the FGM. So after watching that video, I gathered all the data related to the FGM all over the world and even in Indonesian context. So let's talk about the way Khadijah delivering the material about FGM. I do love the way Khadijah delivered the information, conveying the information and her experience to the audience about FGM. Although it is like a bad and terrific like experience on FGM, she delivered it in such an interesting way because she's trying to put some like jokes related to like racism and sex, so on and so forth, so that the audience will pay attention to what she's trying to convey, which is such a good speech. Good job, Khadijah. So let's talk about my opinion on this video. So I'm trying to gather all the information and the data and related study related to the FGM until I find a video from TED Talk in 2019, the newest video on TED Talk talking about FGM and why it still exists in our society right now. So the speaker said that it is because we have like a different standard of beauty and normality in a different culture and society. Some people thought that women that urinating without making noise is polite. Women that has no clitoris and closed vulva considered polite, clean, pure, feminine, and beautiful, without knowing the bad and terrible consequences for women's health. So let's talk about my opinion and the data I have found in Indonesian context on FGM. So let's talk about Indonesian context of FGM. I found the data by the UNICEF in 2020, years ago, talking that Indonesia ranked third in the world for the rate of prevalence of FGM, with the 49% estimating more than 60 million of girls and women in Indonesia undergone the FGM. The practice of FGM/C, or female genital mutilation or cutting, or in Indonesia we call it women circumcision, are really common. Back when we were in 2010, the Ministry of Indonesian Health providing new and releasing a new regulation number 1636/2010, providing a basis and a procedure for medicalization for women's circumcision. But then after that, lots of feminists and human rights activists trying to fight against this kind of bad regulation that put women into a bad health condition. Finally, in 2014, the Ministry of Health in Indonesia releasing a new regulation that trying to revoke the old regulation. The new regulation is number 6/2014, talking that the FGM practice has no medical basis nor medical benefits. So the Ministry of Health in Indonesia is banning the practice of FGM. Without being said, from the data, from the information, from the studies, from the journals I gather about FGM all over the world show that the practice of FGM is such a bad thing. No matter you show it from the cultural perspective or the society perspective, remains that the FGM still bad things happen in our society, and it's still women right. So I here stand for Khadija and other women in all over the world to against female genital mutilation.